Welcome back, everyone, to Dating Decoded. It's so good to have you joining us again.
We've missed you all, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Mia.
And I'm Jake. And together, we're your hosts on Dating Decoded, diving deep into, well, everything to do with connecting with people.
That's right. And after our last few episodes, which were, let's just say, quite a journey, we're back with another really interesting one today.
Oh, it's a good one, Mia. I think our listeners are going to find this super useful, maybe even a little bit eye-opening for some.
Definitely. Today, we're going to talk all about those subtle, almost intuitive ways you can guide an interaction. Making a gentle move in social settings. It's about creating connection, comfort, and, well, just a better vibe overall.
Exactly. It's not about being pushy or anything like that, but more about understanding the flow of a conversation and where it could naturally go. So, buckle up because we're about to decode the art of subtly shifting things in your favor.
It's going to be fun, and we've got some great examples to share. We're really excited to get into the details with you. Stay tuned.
So, Mia, we've teased it a bit. This idea of guiding an interaction. What exactly are we talking about here when we say, the art of the relocation?
It's so interesting, isn't it? Essentially, what we're talking about is a technique. Actually, it's more like an intuitive skill, really, where you subtly change the location of an interaction. Like you're guiding someone, gently, from one spot to another during a conversation.
Yeah, like if you're at a party and you're chatting near the loudspeakers and you're like, hey, let's grab a drink over there. It's a bit quieter. That kind of thing.
Exactly. Or if you're, meeting someone for the first time and you're standing in the middle of a busy cafe and you suggest, hey, there is a cozier spot by the window, and you kind of just, lead the way. It's all about deepening that connection, building comfort, and establishing what we call a gentle lead.
Right, a gentle lead. It's not about being pushy, which is super important to clarify. It's about facilitating a more comfortable, more engaged interaction. I mean, we've picked up so much of this from, some really influential thinkers and authors we've had the pleasure of chatting with over the years. They really emphasize this idea of making someone feel more at ease.
Absolutely. And when you first hear about it, it can, I guess, sound a little strategic, right? Like, oh, I'm going to move someone. But that's totally missing the point. The whole purpose behind these strategies ultimately is to enhance the connection. It's about creating a more intimate or private setting where you can actually, build that emotional connection.
Yeah, it's like you're creating a little bubble for yourselves, a less chaotic environment where you can actually hear each other, focus, and just generally vibe better. It's not about manipulation at all.
No, it's really not. It's about being observant and, seeing an opportunity to make the interaction better for both of you. Like, if someone's clearly uncomfortable because it's too noisy, suggesting a move is actually thoughtful. It demonstrates a kind of leadership, but in a very caring way. It's like, I'm paying attention to you and this interaction, and I want it to be as good as possible.
And it's so subtle sometimes, too. You don't even realize you're doing it or that it's happening to you. It just feels natural. That's the key, right?
100%. It has to feel natural. If it feels forced, then you've missed the mark entirely. It's about reading the situation, reading the other person, and suggesting something that genuinely feels like the next logical, most comfortable step. It's really quite brilliant when done well.
It is, and it sets the stage for everything else. If you can't even have a good conversation because the setting's wrong, then what are you even doing?
Exactly. All right, so now that we've kind of defined what move her is and its positive intent, let's dive into some practicalities, shall we? How does one actually, go about this?
Okay, Mia, that's a perfect segue because I think a lot of people might be thinking, all right, so I just point and say, over there, and hope for the best. And the answer is a resounding no, right?
Oh, absolutely not, Jake. That would be a terrible idea, actually. The absolute first foundational step to any of this is establishing comfort and interest. You can't just walk up to a stranger and try to lead them anywhere. That's just, well, that's just creepy.
Right, exactly. It's got to be built on a bit of a foundation. So you're already chatting, you're already vibing, there's some connection, some laughs, some shared interest. That's where you start, right? You're not trying to pick up someone and immediately relocate them. That's just not how it works.
No, exactly. And once you've got that, once you feel that connection, that's when you make a really casual suggestion. It's almost an afterthought. Like in the notes we have here, it says something like, let's grab a better view over there. Or this spot's a bit crowded, want to find a quieter corner. Just super low key.
Oh, I like that. A bit crowded, want to find a quieter corner. That's so much more appealing than, hey, we're moving.
Precisely. It's always an invitation, never an instruction. And then here's where it gets interesting. You actually, physically lead, which sounds a bit odd when you say it out loud, but it's not like you're tugging on their arm, is it?
No. That's a huge misconception. It's more like you might start walking in the direction you're suggesting, maybe offering your hand if it's natural, or just gesturing gently. But the absolute key, is gauging their willingness.
Yes, that's what our friends from the Venusian Arts Handbook always emphasize, right? You're not dragging anyone. You're observing their body language, their eye contact, their subtle cues. Are they leaning in? Are they smiling? Are they even looking in the direction you're suggesting?
Totally. If they hesitate, if they look uncomfortable, you just drop it. It's not a test you have to pass. It's just a suggestion to make the interaction better. If they don't seem keen, then, you pivot. Maybe you stay where you are or you suggest something else. That's where the idea of calibration comes in, which is just so important.
Oh, calibration is everything, Jake. It's basically your superpower in these situations. It means you're constantly reading the room, reading the person. Is the move too abrupt? Is the suggestion too much, too soon? You have to make sure it aligns with the natural flow of the interaction. You don't go from hello to let's walk 5 blocks to another bar in 5 minutes.
That would be an abrupt move. That's not calibration. That's just hoping for the best and probably getting a quick exit.
Exactly. The goal is always a smooth, non-pushy transition that feels completely natural, like it was the obvious next step anyway. If it feels forced, then you've miscalibrated. And that's okay. We all do it sometimes. The important thing is learning to read those signals and adjust.
Okay, so with all that in mind, our first tip, our first specific example of this move her strategy is what we're calling the cozy corner shift, or to use the more technical term from our notes, intra-venue relocation.
Ooh, I like cozy corner shift. It just sounds so inviting, doesn't it? Much better than intra-venue relocation. Though that is technically what it is.
Right? It's all about subtly shifting within the same space you're already in. And the example we have here is just perfect for it. Imagine this. You're chatting with someone at a bookstore, right? Maybe you just met, you're at the counter, it's a bit busy.
Oh, I know the scenario so well. It's always a bit noisy, you're leaning in, maybe struggling to hear each other over the background chatter.
Exactly. So the tip suggests, after you've been chatting for a bit, you say something like, you know what? This spot's a bit crowded. Let's check out the reading nook over there. And then you just lead them to a quieter area.
Yeah. And the beauty of this is that it immediately signals a desire for more focused conversation. You're saying, I want to hear you better. I want us to be able to talk without all this background noise. It's not about escaping. It's about enhancing.
Totally. And our notes mention that this is traditional used to isolate her from a group, if that's the scenario. But honestly, it's just as effective even if it's just the two of you in a busy spot. It's about enhancing private conversation.
For sure. It instantly builds intimacy, doesn't it? You're literally moving into a more private, comfortable zone together. It's a nonverbal way of saying, I value this conversation and I want to make it even better.
And it's such a low-stakes move, too. You're not asking them to leave the building or go somewhere completely new. You're just finding a better spot within the same 4 walls. It's a gentle test of willingness without any real pressure.
Yeah, that's the key. Testing her willingness to follow, as our friends from the mystery method put it. But it's not a trick. It's just observing if they're comfortable moving with you, if they're invested enough to say, yeah, a quieter spot sounds great. And if they are, boom, instant deeper connection. It's fantastic.
It really is. It sets the stage for everything else, doesn't it? Like, if they're not willing to move from the counter to the reading nook, you probably don't want to try moving them to a completely different venue later. It's a great initial read.
Okay, that cozy corner shift is like foundational, right? Once you've established that initial comfort and they're willing to move with you inside a place, then you can go for the big guns.
The next level, absolutely. So moving on to tip number 2, this is what we call the venue to venue transition. This is when you're suggesting moving from one entire location to another.
Oh, this is where it gets exciting, isn't it? Because you're taking it from, we're just chatting casually to, hey, maybe this is a little more intentional.
Exactly. And the example we have here is just so classic. Imagine you're like in a park, just chatting away, having a great conversation, and then you say something along the lines of, this is nice, but there's a great cafe nearby. Want to grab a coffee? And then you just start walking towards it.
Yeah. And starts walking part is key. It's not a question you sit there waiting for an answer to for 5 minutes. It's, this is the plan. Are you in? It's what those guys from lovesystem.com who we met them, remember? They talk about this all the time. It's about being responsive to a woman.
Oh, absolutely. I remember. Great guys, so insightful. And they really drove home that point about it being applied with a responsive woman. This isn't for someone who's giving you cold shoulders, obviously. You're reading the signals.
Right. It's not a tactic for forcing anything. It's for when you're already vibing and you want to, take that vibe to the next level. Because suddenly you've shifted from a casual park chat to, dare I say it, a date-like setting.
Totally. It deepens the connection automatically, doesn't it? You've gone from a spontaneous encounter to something that feels a little more structured, a little more like an actual intentional hangout. It's signaling, hey, I enjoy your company enough to want to continue this somewhere else, somewhere a bit more settled.
Yeah, it's like I'm willing to invest a little more time and energy into this conversation and getting to know you. And if she agrees, if she walks with you, that's a huge green light, isn't it? It means she's open to that escalation. She's signaling, yes, I'm interested in deepening this connection.
Precisely. And it still feels natural. It's not like you're saying, will you go on a date with me next Tuesday? It's just, hey, coffee now. It's in the moment.
Yeah, it's so organic. And I think that's the beauty of all these tips, isn't it? They're designed to feel like natural progressions, not forced maneuvers. And this one, the venue-to-venue transition, it's probably one of the most powerful for that reason. It's a clear step up.
Definitely. It's like if the cozy corner shift is putting your foot in the door, this is walking through the door and into the living room,
I like that analogy, Jake. That's good. So what's next after we've successfully transitioned venues? I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay. You're going to love this next one, Mia, because it's all about leveraging that social energy. So tip number 3, we're calling this the social vibe guide, or as it's sometimes put, group move for social proof.
Ooh, social proof. That's a powerful one, isn't it? Because people inherently gravitate towards what others find good or fun. So if your group is having a great time, that's instant attraction right there.
Exactly. And the example for this one is so relatable, especially If you've ever been to like a big concert or a festival, imagine you're in a crowded festival environment talking to someone and then you say, hey, you know what? Let's move closer to the stage with my friends. It's a better vibe over there. And then you just start guiding her and the group.
Oh, that's brilliant. Because you're not just inviting her to join you, you're inviting her to join your whole dynamic. It immediately makes her feel included. It's like, come be part of our fun.
Yeah, totally. And it's not just about like getting a better view of the band. It's about integrating her into your social circle, even if it's just for that moment. It maintains the social dynamic, like what those guys from jasonquanhc.medium.com, they talk about leveraging group energy. It's a very strategic, but also like genuinely inclusive move.
Right, because if she follows, she's not just following you, she's following the group's energy. And it's a very non-threatening way to escalate that inclusion. It's less about a one-on-one date vibe and more about, hey, we're all having a good time. Come join us.
Absolutely. It reinforces attraction through inclusion. If she comes with you, she's saying, yeah, I want to be part of that energy. I want to be part of what you guys are doing. And it's so subtle, but incredibly effective for building that connection within a social context. And it takes the pressure off, doesn't it? It's not just you and her staring awkwardly at each other for 2 hours. Now you have the group dynamic to kind of provide that social cushion. It's genius, really.
Yeah, it really is. And it taps into that human desire to belong, to be part of something fun and vibrant. So instead of just talking to her alone, you're expanding the experience.
Yeah, social vibe guide. I love that. It really captures the essence of it. You're not forcing, you're just showing them where the good vibes are. Precisely. It's like, hey, the party's over here. Come on.
And it's also, what's nice about it is it's not necessarily about making a move on her specifically, but it's about building comfort and attraction through shared positive experiences with a wider group.
That's super smart. So we've gone from moving within a venue to moving to a different venue, and now to moving within a group to leverage that social proof. What's next, Jake? I'm curious. This is getting good. All right, Mia. So we've talked about moving within a venue, moving to a different venue, and moving with a group. Now for our fourth tip. This one's really slick. It's called the subtle invitation. Or as the notes put it, subtle directional shift.
Ooh, subtle directional shift. That sounds like stealth mode almost. Like you're not even explicitly asking, you're just moving.
Exactly. It's super subtle. And it really relies on that rapport you've already built. The example given here is fantastic. Imagine you're talking in a mall, right? Just having a good chat. And then you casually say, oh, hey, I just need to grab something quick. Come with me to that store. And then you just start walking.
Oh, wow. So you're not even asking, do you want to come? You're just stating your intention and assuming, in a positive way, that they'll join. That's gutsy.
It is gutsy, but that's why it's applied with established rapport. Like you wouldn't just do this 5 minutes into meeting someone, right? You've already got a comfortable vibe going. And it's a way of, as the Venusian Arts Handbook talks about, testing compliance, but not in a negative way. It's more like, are we on the same page? Are we flowing together?
Right. It's a test of, are you invested enough in this conversation or in me to just follow along with my natural movement? And it really makes the interaction feel so natural, doesn't it? Like you're just continuing the conversation while moving rather than making a big deal out of changing locations.
Totally. It's like our conversation is so good, it can just happen anywhere. And if she complies, if she just naturally walks with you, then bam, you've just built investment. She's subtly put in effort, and that's a big step in deepening that connection.
And it's almost like a mini adventure, too. Like, oh, where are we going now? It adds a little bit of spontaneity to the interaction. Plus, if she says no, if she's like, oh, I actually need to go this way, it's not awkward because you never explicitly asked her to come. You just said you were going.
Exactly. It's low pressure for both sides. If she doesn't come, it's fine. No biggie. But if she does, it's this really smooth, almost unconscious escalation. You've moved the interaction forward without making it a whole thing. It really shines when you've already got that comfort established.
Yeah, that's key. Established rapport. You can't just spring that on someone. But if you're already laughing, connecting, then it's just a natural next step. Like, oh, we're doing this. Come along. It's so efficient.
It really is. It's about being a leader in a very gentle, almost invisible way. You're directing the flow of the interaction without being overbearing. And that's the beauty of it. So subtle, but so powerful for building that investment.
I love that one. The subtle invitation. It really sums up the elegance of these techniques when they're done right. You're just like leading by example.
Precisely, leading by example. So we've covered 4 fantastic ways to use Move Her to enhance connections, Mia, from the cozy corner to the mall dash. But we need to talk about, some of the critical points, because while these tips are great, there's always a fine line, right?
Oh, absolutely, Jake. I think with any powerful tool, there's always the potential for it to be misunderstood or, not used as intended. And that's really important to talk about, especially with something so nuanced.
Exactly. I mean, we've been talking about, leading and guiding and inviting, right? And that's the core of it. But sometimes people hear leading and they might think, pushing. And that's where we really need to clarify. This is about invitation, not manipulation.
Yeah, when we were chatting with some of the folks who wrote like the Mystery Method back in the day, or even the team behind the Venuslian Arts Handbook, they were always so clear about this. It's not about overriding someone's will. It's about facilitating a connection.
Totally. And the big word here, and it's something we've touched on a few times, is calibration. That is, it is everything with these techniques. You can't just blindly apply these tips. You have to be totally dialed in to the other person's comfort level, their mood, their signals.
Yes, like if you suggest moving and they give you a hesitant look or their body language closes off, you absolutely have to respect that. It's not a challenge. It's information. And if you ignore that, that's when it crosses that fine line.
Right. Because the goal, remember, is always to deepen comfort and connection. If you're causing discomfort, then you completely miss the point. And, some of the critiques out there, they talk about this technique feeling coercive if consent isn't clear. And they're not wrong if it's done badly.
Yeah, I've seen it go wrong. You see someone try to move someone and the other person is clearly not into it and they just keep pushing. And it's like, no, that's not what this is about. That's just being, frankly, a bit rude and pushy.
Exactly. It's not about assuming compliance. It's about offering an opportunity. It's like, hey, this could be a cool next step for us if you're feeling it too. And if they're not, then you just, you pivot. You stay where you are. Or you change the subject. No harm, no foul.
And I think that's where the beauty of that subtle invitation comes in too. If you're just like, hey, I'm heading over to grab a drink, want to join? And they say, oh, I'm good here. It's not like you just got rejected. It's just, okay, cool. I'm going to go get a drink. You chill. It's so much less high stakes.
Exactly. And, the folks at bustle.com, they actually brought up a really good point about this back in 2019, talking about how we can feel controlling if that consent isn't crystal clear. And honestly, they're right to point that out. Autonomy is paramount here.
Oh, definitely. Respecting someone's agency to choose to say yes or no, that's the foundation of any healthy interaction. And if you're trying to bypass that, then you're not building genuine connection. You're just doing something else entirely.
Yeah. TheGuardian.com also weighed in talking about potential harassment concerns if it's just, this constant pushing. And that's why we emphasize the genuine invitation and the real-time feedback loop. If you're not getting good signals, you don't keep going.
Right. You have to be able to read the room, read the person, and adjust on the fly. That's true calibration. It's not about having a script you blindly follow. It's about having a framework that helps you respond effectively to the interaction as it unfolds.
Yeah, it's like a dance, right? You're leading, but you're also feeling up their steps. If they're not following your lead, you adjust yours. You don't just drag them across the dance floor. Exactly. You don't want to step on anyone's toes, literally or figuratively. And, community feedback, like we've seen on forums like r/seduction, they actually show a lot of success when people get calibration right. But then when it goes wrong, like with abrupt moves, that's where it highlights how context dependent this really is. It's not one size fits all.
That's a great point, Mia. Context, calibration, and consent. Those 3 C's are absolutely vital to making Move Her a positive, connection-building tool instead of something that backfires or makes someone uncomfortable. It's really about being a high-value, respectful individual who's trying to enhance an interaction, not force one.
Precisely. It's all about that positive intent and reading the room. These tips are just frameworks, not rigid rules. And that's what we always want to stress on Dating Decoded.
And that brings us, sadly, to the end of another episode of Dating Decoded. Mia, what a fantastic discussion today on, guiding interactions and making those gentle moves. It's so much more nuanced than people might initially think.
Oh, absolutely, Jake. It's all about that subtle invitation, isn't it? From shifting to a cozy corner in a bookstore to, suggesting a coffee at a nearby cafe, or even just guiding a group at a festival. It's about making someone feel included, comfortable, and excited to connect more deeply.
Yeah, it really is. And the big takeaways, I think, are always about establishing that initial comfort, reading their signals, and always prioritizing consent. That calibration, as we talked about, is everything. It's an invitation, not a demand.
Exactly. It's about being that charming, confident person who's also super perceptive and respectful. And when you get that balance right, these strategies can genuinely enhance your interactions and build real connections.
Well said, Mia, as always. And thank you so much to all our listeners for tuning in to Dating Decoded. We really appreciate you spending this time with us.
Yes, thank you so much. And don't forget to, if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe to Dating Decoded wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps us out.
It absolutely does. And make sure you hit that notification bell too, so you don't miss any of the next episodes in our series of Dating Decoded. We've got some really exciting topics coming up that you won't want to miss.
Can't wait. All right, everyone. Until next time, keep decoding.
See ya.